Today, I did an approach on two girls that were walking past me while I was at the mall. And when I approached them, two security guards that I knew actually walked past and overheard the whole thing. Now, the approach didn't really go anywhere, but as the girls started to walk their own direction, I went to the security guards and they started ridiculing me and trying to correct all the mistakes that I made. Now, look, I'm all for correcting my mistakes, but these guys have never done an approach in their entire fucking lives before. I have done more approaches in probably a week than their whole entire lives. This is men's biggest fear in cold approaching. Oh, what if the other person hears me? What if the surrounding people overhear what I just did? Or even worse, what if my friend sees and he confronts me about this? This is men's biggest fear that prevents them from seeing success in their dating life. And I'm gonna go as far and say in their whole life. If you fear what other people think, you're not actually gonna live authentically to what you want to do. I used to be exactly like this. Every time that I see a girl that I want to approach in public, and if there was hella people, I wouldn't do it because I would just succumb to the fear of, oh, what if that person sees? What if that person thinks I'm a weirdo and all this shit? After doing dozens of approaches where other people have seen me and even overheard me because I'm talking so loud, I've come to realize that there's four things you can do to overcome this fear. Now, the first thing is understand that no one actually gives a fuck about you. And even if they do, 99% of the time, they'll never tell you. When I approached those two girls and the security guards walked past, they started like ridiculing me and kind of, it was just banter. It wasn't really serious. But it was a funny thing that happened today. When I see them tomorrow, because I work at the mall and I'll see them, they're going to forget. And that's literally how most people are. You see, we think that we're the main character of our lives. So whatever that happens to us, we think other people are going to be so focused on it because we're the main character. But in reality, the other person is the main character in their own lives and they think the exact same thing. They think that there's a spotlight effect on them. So whatever embarrassing or frowned upon thing that they did, we're gonna care. But in reality, we don't care because we are all the main character in our own lives. And that's the first thing. Okay, nobody actually gives a fuck about you because everyone thinks that they're main character in their own life. And the second part to this is even if they do care about you, no one's actually going to tell it to you. Like, I have done dozens of approaches where other people have overheard me and in a really busy place. Maybe someone did care about what I did, but guess what? They don't have the balls to walk up to me and say something. These security guards, I knew them. So obviously they came up to me and gave me some shit for doing that. But most people, they're not going to do that. That should just give you a smile on your face. Like, even if someone actually did care about what you did and they thought of that as wrong, they're not going to voice their opinion unless you know them. But even if you know them, they'll voice their opinion and then they'll forget it in the next day. So there's not really any lose lose situation. Now, the second way to overcome the fear of approaching girls in public is to lower the bar of what you deem as an approach. The approach I did today was I displayed intent. Hey, excuse me. I actually just saw you walking by and I thought you looked really cute. So I wanted to say hi. That's literally the line I said. That was like an intentful approach. Don't make it that hard if you're scared of what other people might think of you because they might hear you saying the word cute and complimenting a girl. If you're scared of doing that in public, don't make that your goal. Instead, make your goal asking the girl for directions. So imagine there's a bunch of people. All your goal is to do is literally go approach the girl. Hey, excuse me. Do you know where the nearest Starbucks is? That's all you have to do. Once you do it 30 to 50 times, you'll have the reference experiences to when you finally level up to the intent line, you'll realize that it doesn't fucking matter. Okay, once you do this 30 times, you'll realize that nobody actually gives a fuck. Sure, you may get some glances. Sure, some people may think that you're talking to them, which in reality you're not, but you'll realize that it doesn't fucking matter. Now, all of this doesn't even help if you're not getting into interactions, if you're not even approaching a girl who's all by herself with no one around. So if you're a brown guy in the West and you want my help learning how to approach a girl, then click that first link in the description. But all of this leads on to point number 3, which is all you have to say is the first word. When we aren't in this uncommitted zone of like, we want to say something to the girl, but we just can't, we're all in our head. Okay, we think about what that person's gonna say, we think about what this person's gonna do, we think about how we're gonna look in front of everyone else. We're in this undesirable zone. And the easiest way to snap out of this zone is literally just say the first word. That's all you have to do. Soon as you say hi, everything just like disappears, and it's just you're gonna go talk to that girl. I'm telling you, all you have to do is just say, "Hey, excuse me," and everything just vanishes. All those thoughts. It's like you put blinders on once you say that. Before you say anything, you're just in your head and you don't have these blinders on. But as soon as you say the word, it's just like tunnel vision. You can only see the girl and what you're doing. I'm telling you this from approaching dozens of girls. All you have to do is just say the first word, and it's literally like this. You don't see anything else besides you and the girl. That's the third way. And the last way is just internalizing that even if people are judging you, even if people do care, what good is it going to come from listening to them? And this doesn't just apply to dating, this applies to your whole life as well. See, what good would have came if I succumbed to the voices in my head telling me not to approach that girl because the security guard might overhear? I would have just gone home and felt like a fucking loser. But I approached her and I had these experiences, which I'm making a video about right now. If I didn't approach her, I would have just felt like a fucking loser, you know? But since I'd approached her, I don't feel like a loser. And this just goes for everything in life, you know? If you don't do the thing that you want to do, you will feel like a bitch. If you don't pick the job that you want to work, you will feel like a bitch. If you don't want to go down the path that you want to go down because you think that someone else is going to judge you, then you will feel like a bitch for the rest of your life. And that is the worst feeling to have because you know that what you're doing isn't authentic to yourself. I would rather have the ridicule. I would rather have people judge me. I would rather have people view me negative than live with the fucking regret of knowing that I lived a life that was inauthentic to me. That is literally the number one biggest regret for all the old people who are about to die. It's that they lived a life that wasn't actually authentic to them. So whatever risk that you're not taking because you're thinking of what other people might think of you, whether it's asking out that girl, whether it's cold approaching that girl out in public with her mom, whether it's all this bullshit, or whether it's taking the job opportunity, moving countries, all this shit, whatever risk that you are not taking because you're scared of what people might think of you, each day that you live not doing what you want, you're not actually living because it's not authentic to you. And that will eat you a fucking alive until you do the fucking thing that you want to do. Now, that is how you approach a girl out in public when other people are around. When you learn how to do this, you learn the most important skill of life, and that's doing the thing that you want to do, regardless of what other people think of you. But anyways, if you're a brown guy in the West and you want my help learning how to cold approach, click that first link in description. But catch you later.